Hi, my name is John Pym. I'm an old fighter pilot, and this is an old fighter pilot story. I was born in 1941 in country New South Wales, and we moved to Sydney in 1943. I had a good education with a lot of sport, singing and acting, and at 16 became a Queen Scout. I matriculated in 1959 with several options and chose a pilot cadetship in the UK with the Royal Air Force. After 4 years training at Cranwell and elsewhere, I flew Hunters and Jaguars for 17 years with the RAF all over Europe from Norway to North Africa, with 2 years anti-guerrilla close air support action, 66 to 68 in Aden. From 68 to 73, I taught weapons and tactics at RAF Chivenna, the home of the Hunter. In 1973 and 74, I was selected to help bring the Jaguar into Royal Air Force service, and from 75 to 77, assisted in the training of pilots up to SACEUR, Cold War readiness status, in Germany. From 77 to 80, we took the Jaguar to Tactical Air Command meets and international bombing competitions in UK and Europe, red flag exercises in Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, and to maple flag exercises at Cold Lake in Alberta. The Jaguar and Hunter were pilots' aircraft, tough, honest, a joy to fly and simple to operate. Generations of pilots in different countries got to know them and trust them. I received the Air Force Cross from the Queen in 1980 for these and other services to aviation. Then, due to family issues, I took early retirement in 81 and returned to Australia. In January 1983, following their invitation, I joined the Omani Jaguar Force as a weapons specialist. My 3 years there were a fighter pilot's heaven. A simple life, all found, no war, a good salary and no tax. A great bunch of mates, plenty of leave, a car plus fuel, a spacious house, water sports PM after flying most days, all in a beautiful, interesting, clean and welcoming country. For most of we Hunter and Jaguar jocks based at Thumrate in the Dhofar Desert, it was normal to fly tactically in pairs, fours or even more, at 400 to 450 knots and below 100 feet, and occasionally to look a passing camel in the eye. After 3 enjoyable years, for my final sortie in December 85, I planned a fighter pilot's farewell with a little action. 4 of us flew a simulated attack on a training target and returned after 30 minutes to hit Rub Cut Range near our base, loaded with 30mm HE ammunition. We made several strafing passes on the vehicle halt targets and buzzed the range safety officer. Then we pulled up into a mock combat over the field for 4 or 5 minutes or so. After the others landed, I dropped down to 50 feet and picked up a rooster tail of sand behind me. The next pass would be my last. In between the passes, unknown and unplanned, the station photographer had wandered out onto the tarmac, hoping I'd return. This time I cranked it up to around 500 knots and eased down into the ground effect, around 10 feet on the rad hour. As I reached the tarmac, I was down at 4 to 5 feet, motoring along at over 800 feet a second. I then saw the photographer straight ahead at eye level, 1 or 2 seconds away, and snatched a pull-up to avoid him. In that instant, he took the most iconic shot of a Jaguar and threw himself flat. After I'd landed, Jerry, the station commander, came up and checked the underside of the jet. There were no scrapes or damage. He had been filming the video you see from the control tower. The photographer was pale and shaken as he handed me the roll of film, with some relief, saying, "I think you ought to have this, sir." In 1988, while briefly instructing on the Tornado simulator in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, I sent an A4 print of my farewell to Flight International, who used it as a cover for their Air Forces of the World edition, late 1988. I'm still waiting for the dollars. After 24 years military flying and an early escape from Saudi Arabia, I joined Royal Brunei Airlines in 1989. I made captain after 2 years and flew 6,500 hours on the Boeing 757 and 767 over an 11-year period. That led to the regulatory world and positions as a flight operations inspector with the Civil Aviation Safety Authority of Australia, and then later with the Hong Kong Civil Aviation Department. Total of 7 years with the Hong Kong department there. As an FOI, I flew the Airbus A330 for Cathay Pacific for a few years and logged 400 hours in the left-hand seat. I later checked out on the 747-400 just before my 65th birthday, and I did 12 years total with those two regulatory authorities. My major regret regarding my military flying was not staying in Oman longer due to domestic pressure. I grew to love the country and the people and would very much like to see it again while I still can. To all those who are young at heart and enjoyed this story of an old fighter pilot, may I wish you every success in life, Godspeed on your journey through life, and may it prove for you a joyous adventure. Signing off, John Pym, AFC, old fighter pilot, retired.